Hello, everyone. I am Will Byler. I have a few IMDb credits and a couple of movies that I have been in, directed by Vince Burkett. Um, they are Zombie Beast films. I was in Killer Country. I played the part of Billy. Um, in Dead Awaits in 2020, I played the part of Jim. Now I'm going to talk about the journey. What it has to do with is how I got to the point that I'm at right now, and how I got into show business. I was a little boy born in Hartley, Delaware, and I was born Amish. Television was not a thing. Movies were not a thing. They, of course, existed, but in the Amish life, you didn't know anything about it. And then, at 9 years old, my parents split up, and my mother got custody of me and my younger brother. And we lived in Pennsylvania, Western Pennsylvania, for a long time, about an hour outside of Pittsburgh and an hour and a half to 2 hours from Cleveland. On with our journey. What I'm going to talk about is the first leg of the journey. I was introduced to the movie theater. The very first movie that I ever saw at the theater was Crocodile Dundee. When friends and family were talking about taking us to the movies that day, they told us what the theater was like. And I was familiar with television by that time. And I asked, what if I don't want to watch that movie? Can I change the channel? I had no idea what the theater was like. They said, no, you go in there, you pay for the movie, and you have to watch what they have. And so Crocodile Dundee ended up introducing me to the theaters, and therefore it is one of my favorite movies. My desire to become an actor, a writer, script writer, to get into the show business started with that film. I started writing scripts and tried to figure out how to make it happen, but we never really had the means, and I never really had the knowledge, and most of my friends did not support me or did not think that I could do it or that it was a realistic dream. Growing up in the projects, in the housing developments, it was very difficult to believe that I would get to be in the show business. So it was a dream that I set aside for a very, very long time. When I did graduate high school, I went into the Marine Corps. I became a U.S. Marine, but as a pacifist, there is no way that I could raise a gun to somebody else or take the life of somebody else to save my own. It is just not something I will do. I will take a bullet for others, but I will not raise my gun to defend myself. Not a chance. And so the Marine Corps wasn't right for me, but I thought it was the only opportunity I had. In the 20-some years that I went through life, just doing one job after another. A few of them I really liked, a few of them I wanted to stay at, but none of them were my niche. None of them were the thing that I wanted to do. I got into my 40s. I started thinking about my life, what I've done, what I haven't done. what I've accomplished and what I haven't accomplished, and my midlife crisis started. I started looking into film school. I was getting some ads in film school on uh, Facebook and other social media, and I started looking into it, and I finally chose one. And I did not. I started the enrollment process, but I did not complete the process because, again, with the same problem, I really didn't think I was going to be financially able to attend. But I still wanted to pursue my career. Then there was an ad for actors needed in the local area by a student filmmaker that came from that school that I was considering. The school that I was considering is Full Sail University online. So now I had an acting opportunity and I ran with it. I got a hold of the guy that lived in Western Pennsylvania, the same town, and I did my first acting job as Jim in a 3-minute short. It was a school project for Zombie Beast Films, Vince Burkett. From there, I was cast as Otis in a movie called Killer Country. I did not finish that role because I became extremely ill and ended up being in the hospital for about 3 months, the last 3 months of 2020. I have had something called empyema in my lung, and on this side it developed into pneumonia. I was down to about 1/4 of a lung breathing capacity when I was admitted into ICU level 2. The chances of survival are less than 50% when you're in ICU level 2. I don't have a record of beating the odds. For 2 months, I was in the hospital. I was delusional, hallucinating, seeing things, had some very, very strange dreams, and it will be a film that I make in the future. I laid on my bed, and at the time it was my deathbed, but in November of 2020, I started coming around. I started waking up. I started recognizing my wife when she came in to visit me. I couldn't talk. I had a trach, so I couldn't breathe. I wasn't breathing on my own. I had lung surgery, and I was still, they were still draining some of it when I started recognizing real life. And I remember laying on the bed, and I started remembering that I was cast to be Otis in Killer Country. I couldn't talk, but the nurses had me writing stuff down so I could have a conversation because I was always paranoid. So their best method of calming me down and keeping me from losing it was to sit next to me and listen to what I had to say, even though I could only write it down. Now, to me, I was writing extremely well. To me, it looked perfect. But to them, it was garbage. They couldn't understand. But I did communicate. I eventually communicated that I was an actor and that I was cast to be Otis in the movie Killer Country. I became anxious to get out of the hospital, but I also started thinking about my life. what have I accomplished? I haven't accomplished anything. My chances of survival were still not very good. So I said, I need to get my education. I need to get out of here and get my education. I want a college education. And this in here is going to be my associate's degree, my associate's certificate. Not what I set out for, but it does complete leg number one of the voyage that I am on. And leg number one started when I was 44. I am now 47. I had a lot of struggles, and life happened. Because life happened, I was forced into a situation where I had to get out of school and put everything on hold. But I had earned my associate's certificate. This is Full Sail University, unofficial transcript. I got through that. Graduate certificate, having successfully completed all studies and satisfied the requirements prescribed by the faculty of Full Sail University, William Byler is hereby awarded a certificate of completion in film and video certificate program. Given this 5th day of May 2023, signed by Gary I. Jones, President, Full Sail University, and also signed by Isis P. Jones, CIO, Executive Director of Education. This tells me that I have an associate's degree. I have a certificate in the program. I am using a camera that comes from what they call the DCBS program, which is Digital Cinematography Bachelor of Science program. I had started that program and I will complete that program, and I had gotten everything that I needed to get this certificate, and I had started my next class, and that is why I ended up having the camera. So now that leg number one is done, I can start leg number two of this journey and take the voyage. I can start self-learning. I can start making some films and hopefully get them into festivals. And then I can resume my education in the fall or spring. That is my goal. That is the goal for leg number two, is to complete the DCBS program